Good morning, men. My name is Jerome, and I am an online fitness coach. I help busy, hardworking, dedicated individuals build muscle, lose fat, and take their body from ultimately where it presently is to where they want it to be. I myself, over the course of many years, I grew up a young man, little lean, went heavy in high school, lost some weight in college. Much later in life, when I had a daughter, gained a bunch of weight, gained almost 100 pounds, ended up losing that over the course of a week. And now I'm helping other people through the mental and emotional struggles of that weight loss journey. Interestingly enough, the process of losing weight, we tend to think of getting in shape, building muscle, losing fat. We focus on the physical aspects. What type of diet should I follow? What should my training routine be like? Should I do high intensity interval training or low intensity steady state cardio? And the real focus really needs to be on mindset, motions, goals, and motivation. That's the difference. That's what gets you up at 2 a.m. to get your workouts in. That's what makes you stick to the diet that's going to cause the fat to come off. Your weight loss journey, changing your physique, is ultimately a mental and emotional journey. And that's one thing that I believe greatly distinguishes my coaching services and my approach as a weight loss coach from a lot of other individuals out there. So this podcast that I will be doing is more than just me recording my voice, me putting myself out there. This is me sharing my journey, my thoughts, my experiences to help you guys get better results sooner. I think that you'll find the more time that we spend together that we have a lot in common. And if you followed me for any amount of time, I've had an online coaching business since 2011. I've had a number of podcasts, so there's a odd degree of familiarity in myself in doing these again, and it feels very comfortable, very natural, very emotionally rewarding for me to do these. So these podcasts, they're not going to be like a lot of ones you may typically listen to. A lot of podcasts will come out, let's just say hypothetically, once a week, and they'll go for maybe about an hour. I'm going to try and record these as frequently as possible, aiming for an ideal goal of approximately one a day. And whether it's 10 or 15 minutes, whether it's 5 minutes, the idea is first for myself that I can have some structure and I can make this a habit and hold myself accountable for my own personal and professional goals. But second, it's going to give you guys this awesome opportunity to check in on a regular basis, to make some distinctions and to take just a couple minutes out of your day, whether you're driving to work, whether you're dropping the kids off at school, whether you're listening to this while you do cardio or lift weights at the gym. This is going to be a fantastic tool for you guys to learn some distinctions that are going to greatly help you change your physique in the least amount of time possible with the least amount of effort. So with this being the introductory podcast, there are so many things that we could talk about, and we will have a long time together. Again, I will be doing these as frequently as possible for the foreseeable future. But today, this is going to be a fitness podcast, and yes, we will talk diet. Yes, we will talk exercise theory, but the biggest thing that I really want to talk about today is the idea of mortality. Your time on this earth is fixed. Whether you are religious or not, doesn't really change the fact that you only have, if you're an average individual, about 80 years on this earth to do what you want to do. And I think most people go through their life without really thinking much about death, without really considering their own mortality. So many times in life, we're focused on the day-to-day grind, right? We get up, get a cup of coffee, watch the news, go to our jobs, come home from our jobs, meet our families if we have them or friends, kind of connect for the day, wind down the evening, watch a little TV, and we're just kind of going through the motions. But I think as Americans and so many people in the world, I think we have so much of this life totally backwards. We tend to spend, if you're just the average 40-hour-a-week working individual, we tend to spend more time with coworkers than we do with family. We tend to work jobs that we don't necessarily love or enjoy just to pay the bills, just to keep a roof over our heads. We tend to chase these empty pursuits, bigger, nicer car, got to have that brand new 60 or 70 inch TV. brand new video games, whatever it is, we're chasing the wrong things, in my opinion. And what we often do is we have this thing that we think is going to make us happy, but then we get it, and so often it doesn't make us happy. And just in health and fitness, one thing that I've had with clients before, and I have so many people that think that when they lose 20 pounds, when they get in better shape, when they see their abs, that their life is just going to magically transform and be so much better. And, you're going to have better health. You're going to feel more confident. You're going to feel more certain. You're going to feel more attractive if you're in better shape. But your life will not be magically better just by having a great set of abs. So much of this journey that we're going on, whether it's health and fitness or whether it's just life itself, we're all defining our own happiness. We all have this one life to not only just look inside of ourselves and ask, what is going to make me happy, but ultimately, who am I as an individual? And what meaning do I want my life to be about? Interestingly enough, when they interview the elderly, and I went to nursing school for a while, and I had a semester rotation as a CNA working in an assisted living facility. Finally got that one out. And when you talk to a lot of these individuals, what you realize is it's not the mistakes that they've made that they regret. It's not the things that they've tried and have failed on that they regret. It's the chances they never took, the business they never started, the connection they never met with the girl that got away. These are the things that people regret. And it's only in like the twilight of their life that they're winding down these moments, and it's too late to do anything at that point for the most part. And all they have is that regret. And to me, regret is so incredibly sad. It's heartbreaking. The poem, "Do not go quietly into that good night, rage, rage against the dying light." So many of us think of that as kind of a battle cry to carpe diem, right? Seize the day, make the most out of every moment. And in some regards, that's true. But my understanding is, I believe the author wrote that about his father who was dying, and his father had to come to grips with the fact that it was too late to really do anything with his life that he really wanted to do. And that's such a sad thought for me. Most of us, when we're young, we don't really think much about death. We kind of enjoy the moment. We live very superficially, very selfishly. We get a little bit older. Some of us have kids. It kind of puts things into a new perspective. And Lord knows I'll have plenty of parenting stories and parenting advice from my own experience being a dad that I will share with you guys, and how that's really shaped and improved my life and the lessons I've learned because of that. Where was I going with that? But we tend to live, for the most part, just assuming that we ourselves are never going to die. And it isn't really until some of us come to grips with people that are close to us in our lives, aunts, uncles, grandparents that may have helped to raise us, friends of the family. And then as we get older too, our own parents, our own siblings start having severe health issues, and ultimately will pass someday. And what's sad to me is wasting so many moments with these individuals. Even the people that we choose to spend most of our lives around, our wives, girlfriends, husbands, boyfriends, kids, best friends. We only have so many hugs. We only have so many kisses. We only have so many experiences with those individuals. Our heart only has so many beats in it. Our lungs will only take so many breaths before someday that will stop and we will cease to exist. So to really only grasp the importance and the gravity of those interactions that we have with the people we care about, once it's put into the proper perspective of they have a health scare, and then all we can think about is, oh my God, this person may not live too much longer, and then we really do appreciate the time that we have with them. I tend to prefer to think of it that always in the forefront of my mind. I am going to die someday. That's a fact. The people that I love and care about are going to die someday. My number of interactions that I have with any human being in this world is limited. There is a finite number of experiences I will have. There's only so many times I'm going to hug my daughter before I'm dead someday. And I don't mean to sound morbid or nihilistic when I say that. Actually, I think it's really empowering, and I think coming to grips with our own mortality and really reflecting upon it and really accepting it is one of the most empowering beliefs you can have. Because when we think about the people that we choose to spend our lives with, if we know that these experiences are limited, and this might be, God forbid, we go out and get in a car accident, do you really want the last experience you had to be some stupid argument over something that didn't really matter? Rather, to the contrary, if I know that I have a fixed number of hugs, a fixed number of words of wisdom that I will be able to impart to my daughter before I'm gone someday, every hug that I have with her now, every embrace, every lesson I try and teach her, every experience we have, every time we go out, every thing that I do as a parent for her carries so much more weight to it. And for anyone who's ever gone a long time without seeing someone that they really care about, and then they see that person again, they get the big hug, that is the greatest hug in the world. Those videos always get to me that you see online of military spouses that, this serviceman or servicewoman comes home and surprises their family, and everybody's in tears. Those moments are 10 out of 10 peak emotional moments for all parties involved, and life should have more of those. Too many of us go through life in this gray emotional state, too afraid to feel either too passionate or too energetic or too excited, or we also downplay a lot of the pain. We downplay a lot of the hurt. But life should not be lived in the gray. Life is too short. These moments are too fleeting to not make the most out of them, to not tell that person that you love them, and to not enjoy the most out of every moment you have. There had better be a God, and there had better be a heaven, and there had better be an eternity if we are going to waste this beautiful, precious gift that we have called life. And if we're going to squander away so many of the moments that we have obsessing over what the Kardashians are doing, or did you see the newest episode of blank TV? I'm not going to tell anybody how to live their life. You guys have earned that freedom, and you guys are all grown adults and can define your own definition of happiness. I just don't want to spend my life watching TV. If I'm lucky, I have 80 years. And really, it's far fewer than that. So let's think about this. If you sleep 8 hours a night, you sleep a third of your life away, there being 24 hours in a day. You really don't have much volitional control of your life as a minor. You really gain your first sense of freedom when you're 18, driver's license, go out to college. But that's your real first taste of freedom and what it means to be an adult. And then so many of us go into working 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, 2 weeks of vacation. I suppose that's 2,000 hours a year you're working. So you sleep a third of your life away. First 18 years of your life, you're pretty much caught in a routine and the structure that your parents have established for you. You spend 2,000 hours a year working until you retire, and then you get some of that freedom back. But my point is, so little of our life is under our control, that time that we have to really do what we want to do. And I apologize if it sounds like I'm a little bit all over the place. I really don't want these podcasts to be too directed. I might take a couple loose notes as I do these, but for the most part, I'm going to have just one topic that I want to talk about, and I'm just going to spitball as things come to me and as I tell my own stories. And And again, we'll talk health and fitness in later episodes. But again, the main point that I really want to reiterate is I think it's tremendously empowering if you come to grips with you are a mortal being who is going to die someday. And to me, the saddest thing in life is regrets. So with that being said, if life is short, if we sleep a third of our lives away, if we squander even more of that working 2,000 hours a year for jobs that we don't like, and the first 18 years of our life are pretty much dictated to us, and we don't have the most control in our lives from the age 65 until we retire, especially if the last couple of years of our life for so many of us are spent in poor health and assisted living facilities and receiving some kind of medical treatment for various ailments and diseases and conditions. There's a couple things that we should really do and really think about. The first thing we should think about is, who am I as an individual? And for a lot of people, this really takes some time. And I'm a completely different man now at age 33 than I was 5 years ago, and totally different than I was 10 years ago, physically, mentally, socially, emotionally, financially, spiritually, in every way. I'm a different man. And change is good. Growth is good. Development is good. Constantly learning, growing, and changing is generally a positive thing. So the first thing that we really need to figure out as human beings is, who are we? What do we want our life to be about? I guess that would be the second thing. What do we want our life to be about? Which could also be reworded as, what purpose do I have, or what makes me happy? We all enjoy different things. I'm very drawn to the biomechanics of exercise. I don't particularly have a real love relationship with the gym. I'd rather spend as least amount of time in there as possible, just to maintain a certain degree of muscle mass and a certain balance in my physique and to look a certain way. And then I'd rather move on and do other things in my life. I love to read, absolutely love to write. I love recording podcasts like this, and I love helping individuals with their own muscle building and their own weight loss journey. That's something that I really enjoy to do. I also really enjoy playing guitar. I've done it for over 20 years now. So who am I as an individual? What do I want my life to be about, / what makes me happy? And then 3, how can I best go about that process? You start reverse engineering once you define your own happiness. There might be 100 things that you have to focus on, and you'll narrow that down to maybe 20. What are the most important 20 out of 100 things that you need to be working on? And just to go on the metaphor of health and fitness, getting your daily workouts in, if you do them daily, meeting your calorie number, getting enough rest, getting enough water, taking a multivitamin. I mean, the actual process of building muscle, losing fat isn't that complicated compared to a lot of other things in life. It's actually very easy, and is just drastically overcomplicated. So maybe that's not the best example. Because there's maybe actually 20 things that you need to focus on, and maybe the top 5 are the most important in terms of building a decent looking physique. But the same proportion holds true. But reverse engineer your process, define your own happiness. And for the individuals I talk to, and a lot of younger men, maybe early to mid 20s that I speak with, don't really know what makes them happy. They don't really know what their purpose is. They don't really know what they enjoy. And I tell them that's a beautiful position to be in. That's a great spot to be in, because when you're in that position, you can try anything you want. You have ultimate freedom, in a sense. Once you actually start working towards something and investing time into something, that's less time that you can spend doing other things. Even if it's something you really enjoy, time spent at the gym, to an extent is a detriment because it keeps you from being with your family, friends, coworkers, whatever. Time spent working on that novel that's going to make you the next great American author or writer is time spent away from something else. It's up to every individual to find that balance of what makes them happy and what they want their life to be about. But if you don't know, that's a great position to be in, because there's so many things that you can try, and just pick something that's maybe held your interest or has got your ears to perk up a little bit when you hear the thought of it, something you've always wanted to do, and really immerse yourself in it for 12 weeks and just give it your all. And you'll actually learn quite a bit about whatever the habit or discipline is, but you actually learn more about yourself, and that's maybe the more intriguing journey. Everybody thinks, myself included, that we go all in when we get into these things, but little secret, we really don't. We operate on varying degrees of how much of our time, effort, energy, money, and attention we're able to put in any given task at any given point in time. And then when we tend to fall short on those things, we rationalize our failures. But I suppose that's a topic for another discussion. Getting back on track, who am I as an individual? What do I want my life to be about / what makes me happy? 3rd, reverse engineer the process. And 4, really realize that every single thing that you have in life or that you get in life comes either directly or indirectly from somebody else. So much of your life is going to come down to the interactions that you have with people, and not just friends, family, teachers for your kids' school, salespeople, if you deal with, can not only get you a better deal on things sometimes based on the relationship you have, but your attitude and your approach with people and the way that you treat other people will speak volumes about your character as an individual. So who am I / what do I want to be? Who do I want to be as a man or as a woman? What do I want my life to be about / what makes me happy? Reverse engineer the process and figure out what are the top 20% of things that you need to constantly be focusing on to make these things happen. And 4, the quality of the relationships that you have in life are so important. And so many people that are ironically I go back to fitness with so many of these metaphors. Fitness and bodybuilding and people that are on a quest for abs aren't always the healthiest mentally and emotionally. Everybody wants, a certain aesthetic physique. Everybody would like to look a little bit better in a swimsuit to look a little bit more attractive to their desired partners. But ultimately, the pursuit of a set of six-pack abs is kind of an empty pursuit, and you're not going to get a lot of people that make their living in fitness tell you that little secret. But I believe in being brutally honest with some things. It's kind of an empty pursuit. In some ways, yes, having a nice set of abs will make your life better, but those tend to be more of an introspection. The confidence that you have, the way that you present yourself, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you feel about yourself, your self-worth, your self-image, self-respect, self-love, self-acceptance, and self-appreciation, those will all likely improve. And that's the real benefit to having a good-looking physique. And you could argue, there are some health benefits with carrying less body fat and being in a little bit better shape, and that's fine. But going from having a flat stomach and being healthy to having a ripped set of six-pack abs and a good-looking chest, shoulders, and arms, there's not a big difference there physically in terms of benefits that you're going to have. It's all mental and emotional, the benefits that you'll have at that point. But the people that tend to get into fitness, a lot of the individuals that I work with can have massive trust issues And they've developed this me against the world mentality to where everybody is out to get them. Everybody's out to screw them. And the only person they can trust and the only person that they can rely on is themselves. And there's this great picture online, and I'll try and find it when I do the channel art for this video, of it's a silhouette that has a bunch of knives and scissors in its back. And it says something along the lines of, looking at me, can you really blame me for having trust issues? And so many people can relate to that. But I just want to question, is that really the most empowering belief that you can have? Is that really the belief about people and about the world that's going to serve you and make your life better? Our rules, our beliefs, our values, our standards that we have about ourselves, about others, and about the world will have drastic effects on the rest of our lives. How we treat other people, how we present ourselves, how we carry ourselves around others, what kind of standards we hold ourselves and other people to. And with me, again, kind of getting this back on point, believing that life is so fleeting, so brief, so quick. Life is too short to be a jerk to other people. Life is this beautiful gift. It's this unbelievable thing that we are so fortunate to have as a species, this idea of consciousness and technology and the ability to put ourselves out there and really interact and really have some of these experiences with others. It's just the most tremendous blessing and gift that we could ever ask for. And so many of us squander away that gift because we're obsessed over these little things that don't matter. Your car had trouble starting. Some guy cut you off when you were driving to work. You spilled coffee on your tie. The batteries died in the remote control. You dropped a hammer on your toe, and it just ruins your day. And life is way too short for all of that stuff. Life is this beautiful gift. And like I said earlier, every interaction that you have with another human being, that could be your last time you speak to that person. Whether it's someone you love or whether it's a total stranger. So what memory do you want to leave with them? What wisdom do you want to impart on them? And then what do you want to take from them as well? And what do you want to take from that experience that you've had? We're at about the 28-minute mark. I think I'm going to wrap this up around 30 minutes today for this first podcast. Again, the idea of mortality, really understanding that someday you will die and you will be gone forever, is not a thought that should be avoided. In many ways, it's the most empowering belief that you can have. It really will shape you as an individual. It'll help you put a lot of things into perspective and not stress and not sweat, these small things that tend to ruin most people's day. It'll make your hugs and kisses with loved ones that much better. It'll make the experiences that you have with friends and family so much better. You won't care as much about having to watch football every single Sunday, and instead you'll actually really get out and enjoy and do things that you want your life to be about. But this first podcast and mortality, understanding and accepting death, will help you seize the reins and control your own life. I think that's one of the most empowering beliefs you can have. I, as a human being, will die someday, and I will be gone forever. Who am I, or who do I want to be? What do I want my life to be about? What makes me happy? And how can I go about doing it? And how can I really focus in on defining and creating my own happiness with the limited amount of time that I have on this earth, instead of squandering that effort and that energy and that attention on things that don't even matter, that are making me feel like garbage and are making me have a life that I don't even want in the first place. Life is too short for that, guys. I want to thank everybody for listening. This is episode 1 of the Maximum Intensity podcast. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening.